happening? Please welcome the incredible and the tallest of them all, in knowledge of course, your host for the voices on radio and television, the lovely Noni Khumalo. Are we ready? Okay, so you're gonna go then to the front. Okay. Okay, we're together then. Come on. Yes. 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 You've got it, ne? I go. The beat is gonna come now. What's that? What's that? What's that? I go. Thank you so much, guys. So apparently, Papa went on stage and I was supposed to be introduced first. Sorry about that. As mentioned, my name is Noni Khumalo, and I am an award-winning radio and television producer. The scary thing is, that was never part of the plan. I wanted to be a presenter like Aldrin over here. That's what I wanted to be. So I think it's important to take you through my journey so you understand how we got here. Because almost a decade in, on radio, I can finally call myself a presenter. Okay? We got there, eventually. But it's not always easy, so that's why I think it's important to take you through my journey. I started my radio career at Voice of Wits, known as TVOF, just behind us. Okay, I started off on The Breakfast Show with a gentleman called Matthew Law, who now goes by Matt Flax on 947. I was his co-host and did traffic as well on the show. He eventually left and left me by myself. I just graduated with a BCom degree from Wits, majoring in tax and auditing. And I refused to go into the corporate space. I said to my parents, I don't want to go there. My dad said, well, if you don't want to go there, you're not going to sit here with a degree from Wits and do nothing. So at home, we run a transport business. We transport about 120 kids. So my dad said, you'll become a transport driver with your BCom degree, which meant that I then had to leave The Breakfast Show on Voice of Wits, and I created a brand new show called The Global Love Experience on Sundays. A couple of months or a year or so later, I then won an award for that show that I produced, conceptualized, and did everything all by myself. Best weekend show. I was doing that in conjunction of being ground patrol at 947, where we gave people houses, money, and cars. So when they call us, I was on the streets, on the road. I was the girl that the presenters called to say, so Noni, where are you? Oh, I'm out in Fourways, and we're about to give away R1 million worth in vouchers. I was that girl. I got promoted eventually and became a social media producer for the Top 40 with Zweli. And because I did so well there, Anele decided to take me on, and I became her digital content producer for Anele and the club. You're taking note of where we come from, ne? Very important story. And I was very deliberate about showing people what it takes, because waking up in the morning is not pap and fleis. And I live in Roodeport, traveling to Sandton. Not cute. So I woke up super, super early, but I did it anyway. I then get a call from YFM and they say, hey, Nonza, please come through the side. We're looking for a content producer. So I did digital. I'm like, okay. I mean, I've been shadowing Ryan, who's probably one of the best producers in this country. And I was like, surely, man, Lina, I can do something. I then jump over to YFM, but a very great mentor of mine said to me, because I was also doing overnights at 947 at the time, he said, you must understand, if you make this jump, right, of going to IFM, you might never be on radio again. And you need to be comfortable with that decision. I said, I'm going to take the risk. YFM didn't have a radio position for me at that point, and I was training at 947, so it wasn't official yet. I said, let me jump over for growth purposes, because I knew that I was definitely going to grow there. A couple of months down the line, I get a call from Boston Media House. They're like, hey, dude, would you like to lecture? I go, I've always wanted to be a teacher. Of course, let me jump on. A year after that, auditions for a show called Trends Live open up, and they're looking for presenters for the show. It's on SABC News Channel. I then go and I audition, and I think, "Ay man, surely this break of me being a presenter is coming." They call me back. We're like, "We like you, but we want you to be a producer." Right? Because I was a radio producer, so surely the TV thing made sense at the time. I then go, God, not again. But I took it anyway. And again, as I said, I'm now an award-winning producer for both radio and television, but that was never part of the plan. But lesson one from me is the importance of why you need to be an incredible producer for you to be an incredible voice in radio and television. Times have changed, guys. There's a lot of competition for radio and TV, and if you're just the voice, as Aldrin said, that's not enough. I think talent is only 20%, to be honest, of the actual deal. But if you know how to produce content very, very well, you become very valuable in an organization. So be a producer. Research, plan. Radio presenters have this tendency of coming on air, switching on their mic, and they don't know what they're going into a link with. Please don't do that. Research is very, very, very important. Understand your audience, communicate with your teams, have weekly meetings. Those are crucial, right? At YFM, we have programming meetings every Monday, and you need to say what you're doing for the whole week. Imagine it's a Monday. You must already know what you're doing by Friday. Obviously, things change, things develop. Those are links that you can hoy every now and again. But the common things that happen on your show, you need to have a clear idea of what it is that you're doing. So be a dope producer for you to be an incredible voice in radio and television. The second note I'm going to give you is something I got introduced to by my mentor, Tim's uncle, and he said you need to have a unique selling point. Does anybody know what that means? Okay, who knows? Hands up. Can I have a roaming mic? Let's try you. Please introduce yourself. We need to give you a mic. Is there a mic somewhere? Roaming mic anywhere? Let's use this one, because I move a lot. Fabulous. I also brought sweets. I'm a teacher / lecturer. So I'm going to give you some sweets also. Yes, introduce yourself, please, and tell us what that is.
Hi, everyone. My name is Fee Borenda Mundalamo. Unique selling point is something special about you. You might be a voiceover artist, but there's something that sets you apart. What is that one thing? Could be your eyes, could be your voice, could be your body, whatever that it is that would work out for you as a talent.
Fabulous. I think you nailed it. Please, move from our sweets. Somebody give us sweets, please. Let's move the sweets over. There we go, fabulous. I was going to throw, but I don't think it'll reach there. All right, your unique selling point is what makes you different. So when I met my mentor for the first time, he said to me, Noni, give me 5 of your favorite radio stations. Tell me what works at each of them and tell me what doesn't work. But most importantly, what is your unique selling point? I'm still running with it. I don't know how long I'm going to run with this unique selling point, but my unique selling point is that I'm the hardest working person in the room. My mentor said to me, what happens when you find somebody that works harder than you? And I said to him, I'm yet to find out. So you need to stand out. There's a lot of competition I mentioned for radio and television. I believe that radio and TV used to make superstars. I think now things are looking pretty crazy for radio and TV. I think they're looking for them now in order for them to start making money, because advertisers are moving platforms of where to go. Because remember, we make money through advertising. So now they're the influencers with 1 million followers, 2 million followers. They're thinking, I could break this down. Instead of giving it to a radio station, I'm going to give it to somebody on a digital platform, and they have immediate insights of where their content reaches. With radio, it's a long process. You have to wait for statistics that are going to take a year. It takes forever, right? So what makes you unique in order for you to enter into the space? Okay, so very, very, very important. And the last one for me that I think is important is you need to be able to tell a story authentically. Okay, you saw the ellipses, ne? Tell a story, ... authentically. When the beauty about Trends Live is that you're a producer, yes, but you get to present your inserts. Right? So you get 30 seconds of fame in a 5-minute insert. Right? I was very deliberate about the type of stories that I wanted to tell when I got to Trends Live, because producers have that leverage. Right? You pick a story, you pitch it, your executive producer goes, oh, pretty story, great story. Go out there and create the story. So for me, I wanted to tell the stories that are untold. It's very easy to tell a story about Uthandiswa Mazwai. She's incredible, right? But who's telling us a story about the woman that does her hair? Or her driver? So that's what I would do. We love Thandiswa, but her hairstyles, iconic. And I said, I'm going to find the lady that does her hair. And she's got an incredible story. Please watch the insert, it's on Trends Live. Her name is Bonolo. And that's the beauty about being a producer, is you need to tell the stories that people are not telling. You need to have a narrative. I wanted to uplift young black people in my stories, the stories that are untold, of the icons that aren't necessarily in our faces. That's the story that I wanted to tell, right? And I want to say I'm very grateful that my career in producing started in radio, because radio is a very difficult medium, mainly because it doesn't have visuals. So you need to be able to paint a picture for someone. Oh, with TV, honey, we get away with murder. I'm 80% there, looking like this, right? You've got the visuals at the back. Everything is a lot easier for you, right? But I must say, producing for TV was the toughest thing I've ever done in my entire life. For a 5-minute insert, you work for a week, right? So you pitch your story to your boss. Your boss says, okay, my boss is my EP. She goes, okay, great story. Now you must come up with a document that you must send to Bonolo, who does Thandiswa's hair, right? These are the people I want to talk to. This is the direction of the insert. Then you must book a cameraman. After booking cameraman, you must find a date to go shoot this content with Bonolo. Maybe the first few takes are a mess, right? Instead of shooting for 2 hours, maybe now you're shooting for 4 hours. Then you must go back to the SABC and you must ingest the content, which means that you must take the content from the cards at the camera and you must put it on a system at the SABC, and it's in real time. So if you shot content for 4 hours, my friend, you're going to sit and wait for the content for 4 hours. Right? And I was trained very well by a lady called Didi. She taught us that there's no shortcuts in TV. Once you're done with that, you need to transcribe word for word all that 4-hour content. Once you've transcribed that 4-hour content, now you need to cut it short so that it's a 5-minute insert. Then you sit with your editor another day and you chop. You go, I like this, I don't like that, I like this. She's like, no, don't you have more visuals? Now you must find pictures, you must find videos. Then now the insert is complete. After that, now you must do music and sound. You must pick a right song, you must voice it, you must do this, you must do... Guys, for 5 minutes on television, I think TV producing is the toughest thing on the planet, right? But I enjoy them both very, very well. And I think that because I've got this experience, it makes me that much more appetizing to whoever is looking for the next talent. As I said, talent alone is not enough, but I become more valuable because I don't just come with a voice, I don't just come with talent, but I come with incredible experience as a producer. And I think that we need to do that. Your voice alone is not enough. Research and work really hard in order for you to be successful. Okay, so those are my things. Be a dope producer. Find your unique selling point and know how to tell stories ... authentically. And I think you will be great. All right, that's me. I think I do have time because I want to do some exercises with you guys. Yes, we've got a question over here.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Tebogo. So you mentioned that storytelling is really important to you. How do you find your audience, the story's audience, and then appeal to them? Because I think that producing gets like really hard when you have to find your primary target audience, because when you do research, it's like, oh, this is much more broad than I thought it was. So that's my question.
I think my answer for that is you need to be deliberate about understanding the spaces that you're working in, right? Like 947 versus YFM are two different worlds, right? The audience, the people that listen to it, even the presenters are very different. YFM is like funky, it's fun, homonati, babes, you know, first paycheck, we're driving the Tesi, the Conquest, the Polo. 947 babes is driving a Range Rover, we live in Harton, you understand what I'm saying? But you need to understand your audience. It's very important to research your audience, even if it means going to your EPs or to your bosses so that they give you statistics around, who's our listener? What are the things that they like? Because if you get that wrong, that's when you lose your audience. When you speak about things that nobody relates to. So it's very important that you do your research. I don't know if that answers your question. Sort of. What do I look for in what type of research? You're looking for your audience. Who am I talking to? If you don't know who you're talking to, then you're in trouble. Because then you're speaking to the wrong person. Right? I already told you, YFM people, we're young. We're funky, we're vibrant. We're either moving out of home for the first time, or we've been in our jobs for 2 years. We've just bought a car. Can't necessarily afford a house, but we are renting somewhere in the north. Do you know what I mean? So it's about if you understand that, then you know exactly what you're talking to. Your topics will make sense because you'll speak to them. Do you know what I'm saying? So very important. We've got other questions, yes? At the back? Can you project? Yes, I can. Fabulous, there we go. Yes.
And I understand how fundamental that is to growing in that other space. But please dumb it down for me. So now I have never produced before, but I now see the importance of producing.
Yes.
So please dumb it down for me in terms of a day in the life of a producer. Because I want to go into researching, like how do I start out being a producer? Over and about looking at a script and reading a script and delivering that script.
Fabulous. Fabulous. I'll do exactly that. Here's the realities of TV and radio. When the show does really well, who gets the props? The presenter. Oh, fantastic, Aldrin. That was great. Oh, you delivered. When the show is bad, you are the driver of your show. Whatever your presenter is saying has to be something that comes from you or that you've approved. Right? So let me dumb down a day in a life of a content producer. When do you want to start? In the morning or in the afternoon? Because you don't knock off. You guys know that, right? There's this notion that presenters only work for 3 hours. Please, we don't work for 3 hours. Okay, maybe let me take you from a Monday morning, or maybe Monday afternoon, because that's when we plan with my team. Right, so after the show on Monday, we sit and we go, okay, let's look at the topics that we want to do for the week. I'll come up with topics, and they'll come up with topics. And the importance of them coming up with topics is so that whatever they say with their mouth is relatable. Right, because sometimes I might like certain things that they can't relate to, and you can pick up when a presenter doesn't like the topic. They can't relate to it. They don't have a story. So I always encourage presenters to give me stories that they want to talk about, right? And those would be the topics. Then we've got what we call features. A feature is something that happens every week, or it could be every day, depending on the type of feature, right? The only thing that really changes is the content of it. So on a Monday, we'll have what we call the good, the bad, and the ugly. And here we look at unconventional careers and how to make it into this type of career. Right? And then I will go, here are my suggestions, right? But in my suggestions, I had to go and look for the people that I think have unconventional careers, right? Whether I say I'm going to look for the person who prints tickets at Hyde Park Corner, and I want to talk to him and ask him about his job and what he does. I run it through the presenters. On Tuesday, we've got who's trending. Quite obvious, we're looking for young people that are doing incredible things, whether it's radio, TV, social media. I then suggest my people. Sometimes they'll say, oh, Noni, we don't really like that person. Can you suggest somebody else? Right? It's your responsibility as a producer to go find those people. It's your responsibility to keep in contact with those people. You do all the groundwork in most of the cases, right? Very few presenters are still very involved.
You get paid more, sorry.
Ha, Chami! Please, you're not recording this, ne? I once went to my boss's office and I asked for a raise, ne? And I said, this is what I think I deserve. She said to me, ma'am, but you'll be earning more than a presenter. I'm like, because I work harder than a presenter. When your presenters leave at 3 o'clock when the show is done, they go to whatever engagements they have. I'm the one that's stuck with it. Okay? We don't get paid more. But I also want to say it depends who you are. Okay? If you negotiate well, if your price is right. But in most cases, I don't know, Alden, maybe you can also contribute to this, but I think the presenters get paid more than the producers. But they also have live reads that they get paid for. They get power spots, that they do on air that they get paid for, and other endorsements, right? But producers don't get paid that much. And that's a reality that people don't want to talk about. Producers aren't well paid. Producing is the hardest thing you'll ever do, and that's why there's so few of us. There aren't a lot of producers because you are the think tank of every radio or television show. You get paid the least, but you do the most amount of work. That's why people want to be talent, because it's easy. My talent can come at 5 to 12 if they want to. The script is done, it's printed. The work has already been done by me. I got that 10:30. You're getting there at 10 to 12. And when you get in, your first link is at 20 past. So you'll just quickly scan through the script, and then you just put in your magic, some spice, Noni's work, and then it's all systems go. So we don't get paid more. That's the reality. But we do need more producers. So if you are thinking of getting into radio, you must be diverse and you must come up with multiple skills. Come in as a producer, babes. Eventually you'll become a presenter. Have I dumbed it down? Or do you want more? We are together. Fabulous. Yes.
Hi, I'm Zampa. I'm a voiceover and actor.
Come on, queen.
So, I just wanted to ask, project management methodologies. Which ones do they usually use in radio or film? Like, what tools do you use?
Yo, man, that's big English. Project management methodologies. Okay, now dumb it down for me. They're beautiful, but I don't know if even in English when I break it down, I'm not sure if I'll break it down properly.
And what instruments do you guys use? Do you use any online platforms, any tools? How do you make sure everyone stays committed and understand what's happening for the week? Besides just meetings and talking about it.
I hear you. So in my previous station, they used to have a platform that they use to get content. Where I work now, baby girl, you for content. You fight hard for the content. So sitting with your team, as I said, is very important. If you guys don't get along, you're in big trouble. I moved shows because things were very tricky. And then I had to move to lunch. But fantastic energies at lunch. I don't want to lie to you, we don't have an actual set platform where we get some of our content from. And I think that's why it's very important that you are, wherever you are, even as a presenter, you're collecting content all the time. I always say to my presenters, guys, you guys are always out. There's content all around you. Please bring that content here so that you can tell people what you get up to. Because their lives are wild and fun and crazy. People want to know what you do on weekends. People want to know if you've broken up with your boyfriend. Do you know what I mean? Bring that content here and let's talk and discuss, but it needs to be relatable. So I don't want to lie to you. There's no serious platforms that we sit on and I just read a lot. I read across all social media platforms. I read articles, because I also do talk on YFM. So I'm just always reading. I always want to know what's going on. And that's how I get my content. Oh, and my sister, she's 21, so she keeps me on the streets. Yes. Hi, do you need a mic?
Yeah, maybe I didn't need a mic. I don't know. Hello, guys. Yeah, my name is Soho. My question for Noni is, what is it exactly as a producer do you want from a presenter? For example, let's say maybe you do your whole research and everything, and then from me as a presenter, are you expecting me to actually be on an equal scale with you in terms of the research that you have done, and I should also do it so that we can actually be on the same page and project whatever that you've researched to the audience as how you would want it? What is it exactly that you want from a presenter? And also, what kind of relationship, a working relationship that you actually expect from a presenter?
I love that. Let me tell you, the best teams that do well together are the ones that get along. So when I was working on Anele and the Club, those people are friends, guys. They go on holiday together. They're that tight. So when they're making jokes and they're laughing, it's fun because we relate to one another. Right? You can hear when presenters don't get along. But your question about what do I want as a producer from a presenter, more than anything, I want commitment. Let's leave everything else. The other stuff we can work on. But if you're not committed, that's when I get upset, right? Because the one thing that I appreciate about Trends Live is the content that I produce, I present. So the vision that's in my head and on paper, I get to execute. There's nothing worse than coming up with a fantastic game or interview, and then the presenter misses the point. And that moment is gone. We are live. Jessica, we are live. And you're like, how did you miss it? And we can't go back. Do you know what I mean? So I don't have control of what the presenter does. Because I can prepare all I want. Or you get a presenter that looks at the prep and goes, I actually don't like this content. And it's okay to not like the content, but it'd be great if you had told me when we met, but you didn't come to the meeting. So now I've wasted my time preparing for you as a presenter, but now, minutes before we have to go in with a link, you're saying you don't like it. You're wasting my time. And that's when conflict arises, right? Because I'm okay with you doing some of my work as a producer because you want your show to sound great. But the minute you want to change it sporadically without coming to meetings, I will tell you that I don't come behind the desk and press the mic on and speak. So please don't come here and mix and match my content. But I'm very open to presenters saying, Noni, I think this would work better. I love that, because then the passion that you'll go on air with will show because you are invested in that content. So I never get offended. But more than anything, I want presenters to be committed. Superstar, you can do it out there, but when it's time to work, let's be committed. That's the biggest thing that I look for in presenters. Yes, another question. Guys, I forgot to give you sweets. You guys also don't tell me. Oh, can't take. Please, the people that have spoken, please take your sweets. Haibo, they're busy sitting here. Yes, please, do you need the mic?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. I think by far I'm the one who works in a very different industry than everyone. I work for the African Union and its development agency. So with us, what I've noticed is the currency and power in voice. Yes, all the messages are written by the PR and comms people of the whatever the our principals and stuff. But I check as to when I grew up, how news used to be, especially the primetime newscast, and now to whereby people are commenting on the newscast, which is always for me the craziest thing, because north of Limpopo, nothing like that happened. I've been to almost all African countries except 5. So I want to know, what is it that one need to do to always enhance their voice, that their voice is the ultimate winner? Why I say that? Nkosi Johnson, the soundbite of Nkosi Johnson, I'm 12 years old and I have AIDS, moved so many things. Nelson Mandela, his voice, graspy or however it came, it brought US dollars into this country. How do I make sure that my voice, however it comes out, whatever it is enhanced with, brings money into my Adobe? Thank you.
That's a very tough question. I remember when I was still at 9-4, they're telling me to wrap up. We can't even do the activity. It's okay, but I think the questions are better. The one thing Anele mentioned was that in her time, all the bodies around her being a presenter were very involved in putting her out there. I don't think stations are doing that anymore. I don't think we're backing up our talent as much as we did. For you to know about Nkosi Johnson or for you to know about Nelson Mandela, it's because media houses and whoever was around them was making sure that you hear them. And I don't know, I feel like that's lacking now, because I don't even think you guys know who some of your radio presenters are anymore, because they're not being pushed. They're not being pushed. People are just sitting going, you guys must make yourselves stars. We're not investing in you anymore. I mean, surely if you're announcing a lineup of a radio station, these people should be everywhere. When a newspaper, social media, TV shows, like these people should be appearing everywhere, because out of sight, unfortunately, in TV and radio is out of mind. And I don't think we're doing enough of that anymore. I don't know if it's the pressures of digital media that's now coming in, where people are pushing numbers because they're just either cool or they just know the right thing to do, but we're not doing that in radio and TV anymore. And it stresses me, because I'm like, then how are people supposed to know who our personalities are if we're not backing them ourselves? So I just think we need the right media houses, the right management to push talent so that people know and remember these incredible voices. I hope that answers your question. Okay, they said I must wrap it up. Let's take 2 more. Ooh. Please don't ask me, what do I think about Chris Brown? Because my station is bringing Chris Brown. Don't ask me that.
So you talked about presenter and producer, right?
You don't think you've met anybody? That's scary because I know a lot of people that like Thibaut Touch. I know a lot of people that like Thibaut Touch. Let's do this. Let me not answer the question of what makes him unique. What makes Thibaut Touch unique? On the floor, anybody, somebody, scream it out. His confidence. Spiritual man also, right? Yeah.
It's how he speaks.
Yeah.
All the presenters, and I speak because I've seen a lot of them in my upbringing. A lot of presenters have a USP that you can say, but on how you bring out your content, how you say it, and how you continue to be intentional about it. So Thibaut Touch has been one of the most influential and intentional presenters in the media history of South Africa, because he always goes out there to interview the people that most of the people don't like.
Also, he's got the network. Remember? He's got access to these people. Like, I mean, Black Coffee is not going to go to any radio station, guys. But he might go to Metro and he might go to 947 because he's got relationships with Anel and relationships with Thibaut Touch. He might go to Kaya because he's got a relationship with Sizwe. Right? So they are able to pull in people that no other station or TV show can pull in. And that's what keeps them relevant. Right? Anybody else to say why Thibaut Touch is... he nailed it. He closed it. He did the thing. One more. I'm going to get into trouble. One more.
I'm not interested, I'm not a cool kid. I can't try it on social media. So what does the future look like for me if I get work in advance as a broadcaster, not as a cool kid?
Okay, they're saying time out for me. Let's talk after. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Hope you have a fantastic one.
I be so fly like a fucking saucer, yeah.